Hello lovely people, I hope you're okay and you're doing all right during this crazy time. Before we start, I have just filmed this entire video, but the audio quality was disgusting, so let's just hope this is better. I really am losing it. So I'm really sorry that I haven't been available for a couple of weeks, but that is because I have had to prioritise uni work. So I've just had to do my dissertation, and now I can breathe, just got a couple of exams, or kind of exam alternatives now, to sit, and then I'm done with my undergrad, which is crazy, and I can put a lot more time into chatting with you guys. So first things first, I hope that you are all okay, and I know that a lot of people are really struggling at the moment, and that I think the vagueness of a lot of the situation, because, you know, the government can't necessarily tell us everything, and, you know, this is not a political channel, I'm not going to go into any kind of political rant, but the government can't tell us everything at the moment for a number of reasons, so the vagueness, I think, has kind of just hit some people, and it's kind of hit a nerve and made people quite grumpy and frustrated, and definitely me, for those two things. So today I just wanted to share a couple of lessons that I learned from lockdown. I'm learning every day from lockdown, and I thought I'd share them with you. So I've got my notes here. So the first lesson that I've learnt is that I come first, or you come first. You know, you yourself, me, I come first, and that kind of probably sounds really obvious to a lot of people. And I always kind of had this phrase that, you know, I come first, you know, I'm priority numero uno, but I never really lived by it. If you can't already tell, I'm a people pleaser. I just want everyone to be happy. I just want to make sure that I can do everything I possibly can to make people happy, and not necessarily to make them like me, but just to make sure that they're okay and that, you know, that you know, they're happy. That's literally, that's it. And there's no other way of explaining it. And that's not a bad thing. Like, I like to pride myself that I'm quite a compassionate, empathetic person, but it is a bad thing when it's then taking away from me and it's taking away from my life experience. So I would just do something nice, and I wouldn't get any thanks for it. I wouldn't get any like verbal, you know, thanks, but I could just see the impact it made, and it was lovely. And being in lockdown, you don't get that visual sentiment in the same way. And actually, it was the complete opposite. I was being nice, and then instead of not getting anything back, I was getting, you know, chat back, and people kind of taking advantage of it and sort of thinking it was okay to sort of make unnecessary shots at me because I was an easy target. I don't know why. I'm not going to assume anything, but it made me realise that I come first and my mental well-being comes first. So if that means I, you know, leaving that group chat, putting it on mute, going for a walk instead of going onto a group chat with some people that maybe don't bring you joy, that's okay. You need to put yourself first. And yes, there are things that, you know, you need to, you have responsibilities, but they don't come first, you do. And that's what I'm trying to say. And making sure that you're okay and your well-being is your priority is really important, especially right now. And that's hard when you have children. You know, when you have children, I don't have children. Disclaimer, I don't have any children, but when you do, and I have friends that have children, they come first in their worlds, and that is completely understandable. And I think that's a whole different point. But where you can put yourself first, do it. Yes, I know you can't do it all the time, but just when you can. So my second message is kindness, and this kind of helps my first point. Help out someone that's just trying to be okay and be kind. It's very easy to look at someone's social media and think, oh, they're fine, you know, that everything's all right. Like, look, they're posting smiley pictures and being positive. It must mean that everything's going swimmingly for them. No, that's not true at all. Like, no. You're all, I know, like, the people that watch this, they're clever people. I know you are. And maybe people just forget sometimes that a social media profile isn't someone in real life. So my social media, for example, my Instagram, I try and keep really positive and upbeat. And yes, when I like have wobbles or something, or there's something that I feel like I should share, I will. But for the most part, I try and stay as upbeat as I can, even if I'm like, you know, in a really grumpy mood. So don't just assume that I'm okay because I've got a positive social media and I'm making smiley messages on YouTube. Because actually, I still have my bad days and I still, you know, cry a lot and miss people, and kindness is so important. So, for example, I was doing some work for my job, and it involved running a Instagram takeover, and it was one of the hardest takeovers I've done. Now, I've done a number of these for my job, but this one was the busiest. This one had the most interaction, which was amazing, but it was stressful. And I was also trying to write part of my dissertation whilst I'm doing this and juggling it. And one of my managers just sent me a message to say, "This is incredible, you're doing such a good job, well done." Now, this didn't take anything off me, it didn't take the stress away, but it was just so nice to hear those words, just so nice to hear thank you, or just something kind. And I feel like we all kind of just need that bit of warmth every now and then. So be kind to people, you know, because what goes around comes around. And if we can all just be a little bit kinder, it'll be amazing. And as I said at the beginning of this video, we're all a bit grumpy at the moment. We're all a bit fed up, and we just kind of want lockdown to be over. And I just want lockdown to be over, but of course I don't want it to be over before it needs to be. Like, keeping everyone safe is the priority, and that will always be my priority, so I'm never going to just ignore the rules. But I'm fed up with lockdown, I really am. So that makes those small acts of kindness even bigger. So we should try and just be kind to people all the time. Just that one message that, you know, just says thank you, send it. Or you can be kind by not sending a message. So if you see something and, you know, your automatic response is to be sassy or just make that person feel bad, don't. And if that isn't your intention, but you think that message will give that intention, reword it. So instead of saying, "No, this is rubbish, why are you doing this?" say, "Well, why have you thought about this? Because this might work really well." Just, there are so many different ways to be kind. And it's really important, especially now. And the third point, like I mentioned earlier, is walking away is okay. It makes me think of the line, "You got to walk away, yay, yay." Oh my god, I'm keeping that in. That is not getting edited out. Yeah, you've got to walk away sometimes. So I've realised there are groups, clubs, chats, individuals that I am just walking away from. Like, and be that leaving a group chat, be that putting it on mute, be it unfollowing them, or just, you know, ignoring them in general. That is what I'm going to do, because walking away is okay. And no, you can't do it for everything. Like, I can't just walk away from my job, my degree, and, you know, my sister when she winds me up. I mean, I can, but it's not going to make my life better. In fact, it's probably going to make my life worse. And doing it at the moment is probably a really, really, really good time to do it. I know it's going to sound really cowardly, but actually leaving a group chat is so much easier than leaving a group in real life. And some people say, "Oh yeah, but you don't have to deal with the consequences when it's online." And that's exactly my point. Online, you don't have to deal with the consequences of making someone upset, because if you make someone upset online, you can't see them crying in the corner at what you've just said. And that's happened to me multiple times in some of the group chats I'm in. So I'm just going to put it on mute, or I'm just going to leave that group chat because it's not bringing me any joy. And yeah, it's easier than having to do it in real life. Like, if we weren't in lockdown, I'd probably find it much harder because I have that face-to-face contact. But in quarantine, when it's all online, it makes life so much easier. And okay, you can't do that with everything. So, you know, you have responsibilities, and having a responsibility is so much different to being involved in things that actually aren't good for your mental well-being. I feel like I've really over-explained that point. It makes sense. Basically, if it's not bringing you joy, if actually it's upsetting you more than making you happy, walk away from it, if you can. And so I think I know a lot of my friends feel a obligation to talk to certain groups of people, to be involved in certain things, because they were before lockdown. But ever since lockdown, things have changed and they've actually realised that it's not good for them. And they feel really guilty about it. Don't feel guilty about it. Just say no. Just take a step back. put your phone on silent. You know, if you don't want to be in a group meeting or like a quiz night, don't be. You don't have to be. No one's going to come over and bang on your door. And if they are, call the police. Sorted. I really hope this has helped. I mean, I know we're all struggling, and so just to look after yourself and be kind and take a step back when you need to is important now more than it ever was. And I'm always here if you ever, just want to send me a message or just, share a meme or want me to share memes with you. Just let me know because I am here. But just remember to look after yourself, and if you're in a position that's making you not happy or is adding to your distress, then it's time to reevaluate it.